What's going on, everybody? It's Friday, May 16th, 2025. This is episode 9 of the Micro Galaxy Squadcast, a bi-weekly show dedicated to all things Micro Galaxy Squadron. You can find past episodes on podcast services and youtube.com/Micro Galaxy Squadron or over on Kevin's Micro Fleet channel. And to tell you how he now has all of his social handles finally streamlined, Mr. Micro Fleet himself.
Hey everyone, good evening. Yeah, I tell you what,
Hey,
man. After a conversation last time, I was like, I've got to try to figure out how to get this to work, and I got it. So,
we prompted you, twisted your arm long enough.
yep. So now
So-
everything is at Kevin's Microfleet.
Kevin's Microfleet.
Kevin's
And
Microfleet
I
is
don't
the
know if
hand.
you noticed, but I think I was on the ball. I hope that's correct. On the thumbnail, I actually changed the handle under your image.
Nice.
On the ball. So on
Dude.
the ball.
Just absolutely crushing it, man.
I know. Let's see. Did I get it right? You said Kevin's Microfleet. That's correct?
Kevin's Microfleet. Yep.
So where all can the people find you with Kevin's Microfleet?
So you can find me on YouTube or on Facebook or on Instagram. Although
YouTube?
I don't know if Facebook has it, but
Yeah.
YouTube and Instagram are the same.
Okay.
At Kevin's Microfleet.
Perfect. Well, that makes things easier on everyone.
Yes, it does.
Listen, lots of people showing up in chat. A few names new to me, but Hal Runner Base, TK, DC Metro. Good to see you guys. Tuba Deluxe. I've seen you. Jeezy, Sweetest Plum, TJ Self. Let's see. Troy. What's up, guys? Brian, Christopher Gord, Carl, McGlynn, all kinds of people. I see Scott. What's up, Scott? Check him out at Imperial Spectrum, I think, on Instagram. A budding toy photographer.
Absolutely.
Milton Keith, Wes Sanders, Damon K. Now, Damon K, not sure which one that is because there's two of them.
I think it's the one that we know that's been around for a while.
There's two. There's two that have been around for a while. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see which one it is. Elvin King, Richard Perez, Dan Dickinson, all kinds of names in here.
Steamy Cream. I like that one.
Oh man, Joseph Bailey. Thank you guys for joining us tonight.
Yes, thanks everybody for tuning in early.
We always appreciate your support. If you want to support us, you can subscribe on the YouTube channels. Hit the thumbs up on the video. Let the algorithms do their thing. We don't know how they work, but they know that that's a good thing somehow. And never expected, but always appreciated, you can drop those super chats.
That's right.
Yes. Also, those somehow work. We don't know. We don't have a lot of experience with the super chat.
But no.
It is a thing you were able to do.
Yes, it is.
Kevin?
Yeah.
How have you been? This has been I feel like right when we started this show or relaunched the show, it has been an absolute sprint.
I know it really has.
There's been so much that's happened. Every week there's stuff going on. Yep, surprise drops, pre-orders, the occasional leak. So this has been the chillest, I think, break that we've had between episodes, and it's made it feel so long. I feel like we haven't been live in ages. I don't know about you.
I know it does seem kind of weird where we had a celebration coming and it seemed like we had one every other day, and then it does seem like it's been a little while.
Yeah, it's nuts. I wouldn't think that would be the case necessarily. You'd think with more happening, it would feel like a long time, but man, less going on, and it feels like it's been ages. Now, some of you Star Wars fans might know that Andor is done and finished, so we can reclaim our Tuesdays. So the next episode will actually be a little bit shorter break than 2 weeks. We're looking at like 12 days or so, I believe. Now, I didn't run this by you, Kevin, but
27th.
The next would be Tuesday, May 27th. Hopefully, you're not out of town for Memorial Day. I know my kids are out of school.
No, I don't. I think I should be okay on Tuesday, the 27th.
Yeah. So the Squadcast is taking back Tuesdays. I know some of you will be happy about that. Others really loved the Friday spot. So it'll be a while before we need to move it again.
Right.
Because their live action Star Wars is so far away. We have Mando and Grogu.
Yep.
Coming out, and who knows when Ahsoka. My guess is Ahsoka is going to be like holiday next year.
Right? Didn't they just start filming?
Guess. Like we're looking at like November, December of next year for Ahsoka.
Right.
So it's going to be quite a while. Who knows? We may not even be here. The world may end before the next live action show needs Tuesdays.
Yeah.
But hopefully, because we'll be back on Tuesdays, I believe Mr. Adam of Nostalgic Adam, will be able to hop back on with us. That'll be fun. We have some irons in the fire, as they say, some really cool stuff. There might be a special episode not long after that one, early June. So I'll let you know more on that when we are able to do that.
For sure.
Tonight, there will be a giveaway. Courtesy,
yes, there is,
of Brenton S. in the Facebook group. I talked about this last time. Kevin, I got to stop using that background for these images. I hate when that goes up like that. Oh,
hold on,
my
let
goodness.
me get it full screen. There you go. Full screen looks better.
Yes, I mentioned last episode how people were just hitting us up wanting to give away stuff, which is so cool. Everybody wants to get in on the fun and spread the love. He has donated another rare Mace Windu. Kevin, I still do not have one of these.
You still don't?
2 of our viewers will have these before I do. Someone donate one.
You have a friend here that's literally on the show with you.
Yeah,
that has one reserved for you.
I don't love asking for stuff like that. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, I've got
Collabos one says, "Gimme." Wingnut has one already.
Nice.
Nick Tierce needs a mace. Well, good luck. We need to figure out a hashtag for this.
I know. Hold on. Let me pull up the page here.
No, I did not have one set for this week. But if you have a good hashtag for this giveaway, drop something really weird in the chat for us to use as this episode's hashtag to enter to win. While we do that, Kevin, have you picked up anything cool? Been off?
I have. Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me get this thing going first.
Okay, I'll show off while you do that. Let me show you some of the things I picked up.
All right, I'm ready to go. Whenever we have a good one. Oh, nice.
The newer Cody.
Yeah.
$15 on the clearance aisle for some reason. So, dude. Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron, not the only thing that randomly shows up on the clearance aisle as a brand new item.
Yeah.
We did Mace Me last time, I think, Ken. I don't know if you remember that. That was what we used last time.
That's pretty good.
I'll just start pulling out the bags, Kevin, here.
Yeah. While you're doing that, I finally picked up something from Series 1 that I had not gotten.
No way. Oh, nice. One of the few that you don't have, right? Are you basically caught up now?
That's it. Yeah. There's nothing that I don't have right now. I've got all of the releases that they've done.
What's that feel like? Is that kind of a weird feeling? Nothing left to chase.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Except for all the other chases. Oh, look at those little guys. You know, I love all the crazy little aliens that they have. The weirder that they are, the more I want them.
You know, I've got the Jabba's Palace.
Nice. I like
and
that one.
I came across these for $10 each, and that seemed like a steal based on Amazon prices. Now, I don't know if this is sacrilege.
Is it Star Trek? Oh, nice. Yeah, I'd be interested to see that one next to the actual land speeder.
I don't know if it's sacrilege, but I do know a lot of people picked that up when they were not able to get the MGS.
Yeah, but you didn't actually open yours, did you?
What's that?
Your Micro Galaxy land speeder?
I haven't opened it yet. And you know what? Now that other pack is coming, part of me doesn't want to.
No.
I don't feel like I have to.
Agreed. Not super necessary.
Not it. Not all. That's not all.
Jeez, man.
Yeah. This was on sale on Amazon. We'll just keep the band trend going.
That's
now,
great.
I did not pre-order the HasLab Cantina, but I think this was like $40.
Nice.
And for seven little dudes there, had to pick up the modal nodes.
Out the window. Oh, I think that's going to be the one. What do you think, Cole?
That's great. That's perfect. That somebody is going to mess that up though, for sure. And I guess last thing I'll show you here.
Oh, nice. Is that the Black Series one?
Yes. It's really, really, really nice.
Cool.
Really, really cool. Really dig it. Found it at GameStop, picked it up. My Amazon order has not arrived yet, so went ahead and canceled that. Grabbed it at GameStop.
Nice. That's awesome.
And spent a little too much money, but it's all right. That's what we do here. So we were gonna go with hashtag out the window.
Out the window. Right? I love it. Yeah.
Is that what we're gonna do? Let us know when it is open.
Hashtag out the window. It is ready. Fire away, everybody. Hashtag out the window. So, out the WINDU.
If you need
hashtag on the front of that,
the rare mace, hashtag out the window. You
that's so good.
I love that.
That's so good.
You can only enter once, and capitalization not a big deal for this program. So
nope.
We'll let that run. Hopefully, as people join, we'll mention it again. Almost 100 people on here.
Yep. Let's see here. We got it's counting up quickly.
Nice. I see it. Chat is
34, 38.
Everybody's throwing it out.
Yeah, keep it going.
I feel bad. I believe this will be the first time that one of these very generous people, other than Robert Caleb, will be shipping straight from themselves. So I'm kind of hoping this is maybe not the first week that we have someone international win. Although I did offer to pay. If it's international, I will twist his arm and I will make him. Sure. I will force him to let me pay for shipping on that. Now last week, look, they're still in here. What a beautiful program we have here. The StreamYards, as they say.
Yes, it is.
It's got all these things I put in here last week. So while those hashtags are rolling in, Kevin, let's start the peg warning. What's happening at retail?
Nice. So retail, there's not a ton that's been going on. It's been relatively slow. Although in the past few weeks we have had the Kenobi and Grievous pack show up. This is like you've always said with those Target exclusives. Unfortunately, they got a ton of them. So they're typically putting these on an end cap and they're down on the bottom and there's like 20 of them. So, and I haven't seen a single one of them move in any of the Targets that I've been by. But we've got that going on. Target is finally starting to restock some Starfighter class vehicles. So we're starting to see some V-Wings and some Z95s show up, as well as the TIE Silencer is showing up as well, just the common vehicles.
Now,
also, what's up? Huh? Okay. So also we've got Walmart is
Am I
starting to
freezing
get.
up on you? Is that me? Have you
What?
seen me freezing up? I'm
I
going
haven't seen
nuts
you
over
freezing
here.
up.
Okay.
No. You all right?
All right. If I drop, I will try my best to be back, but something crazy is happening. So we'll
Okay.
see.
All right. Well, I'll keep rolling then.
I'm going to text
So,
everyone, shut off the Netflix.
Yeah, there you go. So, anyways, we're talking Starfighter class. So there have been some CIS tanks that have been showing up in targets in the restocks. So just keep an eye out for those. And then Walmart has been getting some of the Starfighter class. Unfortunately, they're getting the international release. So it's got the dual languages on the actual box. And it has me slightly concerned, Cole, because when this happened in the previous series, it was all common vehicles. There was no chases or rares in it. And they just clogged up the pegs and they never actually got through like a secondary shipment of them. So let's hope that that's not the case. But of all of the stores that I've been to that have had those out, I haven't seen any of them move. So there's a bunch of silencers and a bunch of V-wings. And man, that is just such a problem. So we also have at Walmart's, all of the ATTEs, the T6, and the Ghosts that they have that are full price are still full price, and they're not moving either. I have seen some restocks of some of that stuff at Walmart as well. That again is just continuing to sit there. They're just piling up on the top. I don't know what's going to end up happening with that, but hopefully they're going to start clearancing that out here in the next few weeks, maybe month or so that way they can make space for some of the new vehicles that are coming, which is going to be the TIE Reaper and the ARC 170. All of the pre-orders that are up, Cole, are they still available? I think there are some pre-orders that are available. There are some that are not available, but you will be able to grab those if you want to. If you're not able to get them on pre-order, I wouldn't stress about it too much, just based on the typical distribution of those larger vehicles. They do end up coming out, and you can end up finding them anywhere. So don't freak out if you don't get a pre-order in. The last thing is that at Fred Meyer's, for whatever reason, there has been some Armada Poe T70 showing up. And it's kind of a weird thing to have because the T70 shouldn't be Armada Edition for this series. So it's kind of odd that that's popping up. Haven't heard anything from the Jazzwares team as to why that is potentially happening. But my guess is that they end up getting to the end of the line. They're putting everything in the boxes. They're going, all right, we need to put an Armada vehicle. They just grab an Armada vehicle, throw it in the box, and then send it out. And so that's why we're getting a few of them. I do have a YouTube review up of that T70, and there's no, well, I won't say there's no differences. There are a couple differences. The two things that stood out to me the most with it, one is that it doesn't have a wash on it. So where the other ones you could see some pooling of the wash on there, it doesn't. It's perfectly clean. And then the other piece of it is that Poe's helmet has some logos on it, which they actually have in the second version of the T70 that came out with the collection, the collector's collection. And the BB-8 is not the updated BB-8. So it's kind of disappointing. I would think with an Armada edition, we should get all of the premium deco on all of it. So for whatever reason, maybe they just had a bunch of BB-8s and threw them in there. So now, this being one of the few that is actually out there that I've had a chance to see and open and take a look at, I don't know whether or not, like we've had in the past, Cole, where some of these Armada vehicles that we've had, the Armada vehicles will come out and similar to what we had with the Coruscant Battle Pack. With the Coruscant Battle Pack, it came out and some of the droids didn't have the updated deco. They then, restocked it, and in the restocked version, it did have it. So I wonder whether or not that will be the case with Poe as well, that they're just going to throw in all of the extra BB-8s that they have that aren't updated and then start putting in ones that are. So
kind of a shame.
Yeah, it is. But for what it's worth, again, I mean, this is the first one that we're seeing. So, in the case that that is the way it actually comes out, it is what it is. But let's hope that that we do get some of the updated versions, because I do think it is worth it to be able to pick that up, get the updated BB-8, get the updated Poe, and then still have the T-70 that looks pretty good and doesn't have the wash on it. But either way, that is all of your
10% of what you
retail.
were saying.
Oh, you're popping in and out. Okay. Well, now you're back.
I maybe 10% of what you said I heard.
Okay. No worries.
So listen, I'm sure you did a great job. I'm sure it was awesome. If I get wonky here, just text me and I will do the reset of shame and restart the router, and we'll see if that helps anything.
Gotcha.
Typically, amazing internet.
Yeah, Cole, are you still there?
Oh man.
Hey, are you there?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can.
I'm sort of here. I'm in and out. I might reset here in a minute.
Can you hear me? Was I breaking up or were you?
After this segment, maybe I'll reset while we do that.
Yeah, you're gonna log out?
Yeah, did you hear that?
I did, yeah. Go for it.
All right. I will be back shortly, I hope.
Okay. Very good. Well, while Cole is out here getting himself reset, hopefully everybody can hear me. I don't know how I sound, but it seems to be running fine. So if you can just comment in the post really quick that you can hear me and everything is rolling okay, that would be super helpful. Yes, Cole is squadding out right now. Can everybody hear me? Yeah, sound good? All right, fantastic. So do want to highlight again really quick our giveaway. So again, for Mace, we've got hashtag out the window. If you haven't put that in, if you're signing on right now, make sure that you do get that in there. Right now, we've only got 57 entries in there. So make sure you do pump that in there. Again, hashtag out the window is the one. So while Cole is out, the other thing that we've had happen here over the last little while is Vault. So Vault has actually had a couple different things pop up. And what's been very interesting about Vault here over the last little while is what they've done with some of their Starfighter and Light Armor and Scout class collections. So many of us missed out on some of the big chases and rares and stuff for the early series. When we originally had somebody on from the Jazzwares team a long, long time ago, and they were first talking about Vault, one of the things that they had mentioned is the ability to potentially bring back other vehicles, chases and rares from previous series back into the line. So we had that happen a little bit. And one of the things that has popped up here is actually these Vault collections with an extra rare vehicle, or it's either a rare or a chase vehicle that comes with it. And it seems like, so Merrick, yeah, good question. Based on the cadence that they've done and what they have actually released, the first thing that they did was Biggs. And unfortunately, with the Biggs one, I would say moderate fail on Jazzware's part with that one, mainly because when they packaged that, they just literally threw the Biggs in there with the box and didn't put any extra packaging. For a premium item like they have with some of these vehicles, I am shocked. I mean, I was totally shocked to see that they didn't do any packaging with any of the other stuff. So many of the Bigs were smashed up because they got smashed in the box as it was shipping to them, which is really unfortunate, especially for those in-box collectors that wanted to get it. Now, because that's sold out, some had tried to reach out to Jazzwares to see whether or not they could get that covered or to be able to get that replaced. And once they sell out of it, I mean, it's gone. We can't get it back. So unfortunately, many that did have bigs that got smashed up, just open it up and have it outside of the box, or see if there's somebody out there that wants to trade with you for one that they're going to end up taking out of the box if they have one in the box. So the other thing that happened after that is they then released a couple other different items that had the Luke chase from Starfighter class. They had the white tie, and they had the AT-ST Raider, all from Series 1, the chases and rares. So very interesting to see that happen again, where they're putting those out there, because it's a great opportunity for many collectors to be able to get some of those items that they never got, especially with the white tie. That one was a big hit when it first came out and was very difficult to find. Prices on the secondary market were skyrocketing, and then now they went ahead and released this. It did sell through all the way, so those are not available anymore. I believe the AT-ST Raider might still be up, but I'm not 100% sure if that's the case or not. And then also with the Luke's Jedi, the Jedi Luke X-Wing is still up there. So it is available if you still wanted to go ahead and get it. You obviously have to get one of the Starfighter class collections to be able to get that vehicle, but it's available if you wanted to go ahead and try and pick that up. And it looks like we may have Cole back. Oh, there he is.
We double clicked. We went for it at the same time.
Nice.
Listen, it's still a little wonky. I will keep trying.
No worries,
again,
man.
I'm sure you did a great job. How far did you get in the unlock the vault?
Right now, we're talking through just the basics of kind of like what happened and where we're at currently. So with the
Kevin,
vault,
is Biggs cursed? Is he just cursed?
I think it is. Yes.
So many people, man, had just like totally wrecked Biggs from those shipments. So sad.
Yeah. Same type of thing with the white tie. Actually, I've seen a handful of people post about the white tie getting all smashed up.
Man, I just hate that. It's something that's so rare. And you know, an interesting, we'll say interesting way to bundle that for people to get their hands on it. And man, for it to come out like that is a bit of a bummer. I hope they can, if they keep doing these bundles, which we've seen 2 rounds of these now. I really hope they can figure out a way. You know, I think a lot of their boxes and packaging sizes are kind of, you know, they're kind of tailor made to what they've been shipping mostly. So I know throwing one random ship on top of those is a little weird, but they might need to spring for some extra paper or bubble wrap or something to get those to people.
That's what I was kind of saying when you were off the air. Is shocking to me that in a premium set like this, that they're just throwing the box in there. I mean, you are literally catering to a premium audience with the people that are buying from your website, that are going directly to your website. They expect to get a collectible in collectible condition.
And you got to think, hopefully they know, like, this is out of the norm. This is weird. So hopefully word got down to a lot of these guys in the warehouse and packing that, hey, this is a very limited item. Like, we need to handle these and pack these with care. Hopefully they saw all that feedback in those posts. We can probably reach out to them as well and make sure that, hey, before you do any of these, let's try to make sure that these items that go for $50 to $200 on eBay aren't getting smashed needlessly. And man, you know, if Antok is next, or Sabine, you know, if they were just going to start working their way through the items, if Series 2 is next, I really hope they figure that out, because Hera, Sabine, Antok, those are some of the, those are absolutely some of the most desired ones that haven't really made it out there well.
Agreed.
And it would be such a shame if those got destroyed in shipping. But it does feel like Antok is Biggs is just cursed. It's unfortunate.
Yes, it is.
Any guesses what's coming up this month?
That's a great question. So Scout class is out, so we're not going to get any more Scout class.
Yeah, that's what they were telling people.
So we're all caught up all the way up to Series 8 right now. So my thought would be Series 8 that we'll end up getting. Now, we have seen some images of those out there as well.
Some people somehow have had these in hand.
Yeah. So my guess would be Series 8 light armor.
That would be the safest guess, yes. But I still think that's kind of getting really close to the release schedule, the release window for these. That's like bumping right up against it. So if they have one ready to go, it would be amazing, I think, if they could put another battle pack up next month. And I think I just saw it. Yeah, DC Metro says maybe the Millennium Falcon pack, if that's for the Vault. I totally agree. If just because of the premium deco on that, it gives me Vault vibes. But I would think they would make you can sell more than 5,000 of those. And that's the only reason I think maybe Vault isn't the best place for that. That is, without a doubt, the best looking Falcon they've released. And without redoing the mold, probably the best one they're able to make. I am really, really excited to see inside that cockpit. I would love to know if the cockpit is painted.
Yeah.
Or how much of the interior is painted. That would be amazing, I think. Agreed. So, if that's meant for Vault, I really want that thing. I hope that's next. But yeah, the safe bet, we're going to be getting the light armor for Series 8.
Yeah, and there was a period of time too when a Vault was originally coming out, and this was something I mentioned too when you were off the air, is that it was originally discussed that this is a place where you could go back and revisit previous series. The other thing is potentially doing pre-orders for future series. So it would be interesting if they did catch up here with Series 8. So it would make sense they could do Light Armor class this month, Starfighter next month. Then you're running right up against Series 9, and then you could pre-order Series 9.
Yeah. The only... I'm sure that would be great for Vault. I don't know if they would get a little pushback, because that would cannibalize a little bit of their, say, like Amazon pre-orders.
Yeah.
Where they go on there and they do have the individual ships available for pre-order. That would probably take a little bit of a hit, I would think, if all the hardcore people are the ones pre-ordering stuff, and if they have access to get the whole thing at once on Vault, And honestly, it's better for Jazzwares if you're double dipping and buying it on Vault after you've already bought it at store, to be honest. Just thinking numbers.
Sure.
It's not the most, maybe not the most consumer friendly thing, but in the realm of, we are a business that needs to make money, double dipping on a box set to get the rares and chases is probably the best thing for them.
Sure.
So I think we've made our way through all the Vault chat, right?
We did.
If you're just joining us, #OutTheWindow will enter you to win the rare Mace Jedi Starfighter, which we will be giving away
soonish, right?
Let's do this one more segment, and then we'll do that. I want to. So if you're just joining and see those, #OutTheWindow, as in Mace Windu, will enter you to win that item. Moving along, Kevin,
Yes.
I'm old enough to remember Revenge of the Fifth. As old enough as in last year.
Revenge of the Fifth or Revenge of the Sixth?
Revenge of the Fifth, to me, has always been a thing. You had May the 4th be with you, and then you had Revenge of the Fifth. And that's what we all talked about and said, and everybody joked about. This is the first year I can remember anyone really talking about Revenge of the Sixth. And then not only that, but like Lucasfilm marketing capitalizing on that and claiming Revenge of the Sixth as a big marketing promotional push. I think Revenge of the Fifth is done. I think it's gone.
Wow, no kidding.
Cinco de Mayo, you've got your day back.
There you go. Maybe that was the whole purpose. Maybe that was the whole reason for changing up.
Everybody's wallets gets 1 day of rest, where you can go out and get some chips and margaritas, and then it's back to the marketing machine and the pre-orders and all that good stuff. But yeah, I don't remember that ever being a thing, and this is the first year, that Revenge of the Sixth is a thing. I don't know. I don't really care either way, but I thought that was interesting. So
that is interesting.
We had a surprise drop, which we talked about on the last episode. We went live on May 2nd, I believe.
Yep.
And we went through everything we knew was coming. And then we, as much as we could say, hey, I really think this is coming. We said, hey, this Hoth set that was shown off, I really think this is Disney's store. I really think this is May the 4th.
Yep.
And if you got up early on Sunday, it was there waiting on you.
Yes, it was.
And what a glorious set it is.
Yeah, you mean this one?
Look at that. So good. It feels like it's been a while. It's unfortunate when this went live 2 days after our last episode, because now it's very old news. But a lot of people have it in hand, and man, I love this thing.
Yeah.
The
agreed.
Vault Battle of Hoth set is probably my favorite set that they've done. And this one, so I made this graphic because people were a little bit confused what comes with what and what's different with this set versus the Vault Battle of Hoth set. And listen, I don't know about you, to me, this is not an either or. This is a both and
correct
set. And these perfectly complement each other in my eyes for the full Hoth diorama.
Agreed.
All you've got to do is get a 3D printed shield generator, and you're good to go.
Yeah, you really are.
Like, I guess we're missing some Hoth Rebel soldiers. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a great one to have as a scout class. You could do that with one of those cannons.
Yeah, 100%. And Veers, you can just say this is a different guy, I guess, right?
Sure.
It's or
he's going to be inside of it anyways. So
instead of Veers, they could have put another random figure in there, I guess, another snowtrooper maybe. But obviously, the differences are the battle damage, the snow deco, slightly different, which is
slightly different.
They could have done the same thing. They didn't have to change it, but they did, and I really, really appreciate that. And then the gray markings are different just to designate it as a different AT-AT, which again, they didn't have to do that, but like that feels like the extra little bit, to send this over the edge. It's obviously a different AT-AT. Get that thing in downward dog, have it sitting there. It's amazing, and they match each other for the most part. The wash on these very, very similar.
Yeah.
I've seen some where the head got a little heavy with the wash.
Yep.
And it doesn't quite match the body. Somebody on Discord had a really, really heavy wash on the head, and then they were unfortunate to have a body panel that had a very, very light wash. In the grand scheme of those. So
Yeah.
it didn't look great side by
No.
side. But it's amazing, you know, that they this both. I would call this kind of premium deco. I guess it's close
Sure.
to premium deco, but we've got the panel lining, we've got the wash. It's different on
Yeah.
both of them.
Mine was the same, where it got really
Heavy wash on the
really
head.
heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not
that just looks
terribly
like it
difficult
cooled up
to
around there at the one part.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not terribly difficult to clean that up.
Sure.
Just some isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip, and
It would be great if
good
you
enough.
didn't have to do that, but yeah, it's not that hard. So outside the AT-AT,
Mhm.
and if you want a deep dive, Kevin's Microfleet YouTube channel, Kevin did a
Yeah.
30-minute video going over this set, and it's super, super in depth. Really, really cool, and he compares everything. So go check that out after this is over, please.
Yes.
And the ATST, again, probably best in class. It's gray.
Mhm.
The wash is a little heavy, but at least it's a dark wash and not a brown wash.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. It's the best looking one so far. And you know, Kevin, I would say this is the best snow speeder so far as well.
It has the most deco on it for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you have one in hand, but
I do.
the bottom has a ton of deco on it, and it does not have to. Look
Yeah.
at that.
Even on the top, the crazy thing about it is all of the white paneling that's here on the side.
Right,
Again, that they
which is
don't
accurate
really
to screen accurate to Wedge's snow speeder.
correct. And then when you see it, it's funny, like when you see that relative to Luke's. So this is the Armada snow speeder. It looks so Luke's looks so plain
Yeah,
next
man.
to Wedge's.
Yeah. And you know what? I think for a lot of the hardcore ship fans,
Mhm.
everyone kind of had this realization when the Black Series snow speeder came out, and it was gray. And I know a lot of people at the time were like, "Wait, what? Where's the orange?" Even me, you know, it's like back in the day, I think the Power of the Force one had
Yeah,
orange on
it
it,
did.
and
You're
I
right.
guess it was not accurate to the movie, but it's so ugly, you know, it's just
It looks
drab
very
and
plain. Yeah.
uninteresting.
Yeah.
Being screen accurate, I'm glad that's what they gave us. You know, I wouldn't want it to be inaccurate in the line,
Yeah.
but man, I'm so glad that they went the extra mile and gave us, you know, 2 other versions to go with Luke's. And I would say, you know, by far, Wedge's is the most interesting,
Yeah.
the
And
most
the
deco on
gunner,
it.
dude, the helmets on
Yeah.
the Wedge helmet is not as detailed as the rare version that we got from the X-Wing. So you can
Mhm.
check that out in my review as well. But the helmet on Wes Jansen, who is his gunner, looks awesome. Man, that
Yeah.
thing looks so cool. I can't believe how tiny. I mean, those little like emblems that are on the side of the helmet are like so small.
It's crazy how good they're getting at getting the tiny, tiny details on the helmets.
Yeah, it's
Now the
just
only
out of
issue,
control.
if
Yeah,
those get slightly off-centered,
they do look terrible.
you end up like my Wedge, and it's very unfortunate.
Yes.
Mine
I
doesn't
have
look great at
seen
all. It's fine, he'll be inside the cockpit, I guess, but it's a bummer knowing that the paint on there is so cool and so detailed, but
yeah.
it's all shifted to the side, and they're sold out. So that's the other thing. This
Mhm.
went up early. It
Yep.
went up before the main Disney Store drop, and it stayed up. You know, I think it was up for a couple
It was
hours,
up for a couple hours,
and then
yeah.
they had the big drop, and maybe an hour or two after the big drop, it sold out. So
Yeah.
I would say by that afternoon, it was gone probably.
I want to say it was like around 3 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about getting a second, and I logged back on there, and it was sold out.
Yeah, it pretty crazy. So I have no idea if they will restock. My guess is they will restock. We don't have a whole lot to go off of because the other exclusives did not sell out like this.
No, but also remember too, when
they're available in the parks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this set is actually still available at Disney parks, but it is much more expensive. So it's $99 for this at the parks, and I can't remember how much it was that we paid for it.
It's $20 more.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely insane. So $79.99, I think. Chat, you can fact check me on that. $79.99 on the website, I think, day of. In the parks, $99.99. So you're paying a pretty hefty premium to get that in the park. And I really hope this pops back up for that price on the website.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't know. I haven't seen any reports of that being in Orlando. All the ones I've seen are Anaheim.
Okay.
So hopefully that makes its way to Orlando as well, if it hasn't already. I know it took the Batu Falcon several weeks to, if not a couple months, to hit the other side of the country when it first released.
Oh yeah, when it first released, yeah, and then making it to the actual Disney store.
It took a year before, yeah. And so, hey, kudos to them. I know it's sold out, and that's a bummer for people that didn't see it early, but at least this wasn't an actual parks exclusive. I'm very glad that whatever number they had were online. Now we don't really know what the scenario is. It's possible that they had an allotment for May the 4th for the website. Sure. And now this is a parks exclusive for a while. So who knows? We'll try to get a little bit of clarity on that if they will let us have it.
Yeah.
But I'd like to know. I know there's a lot of people that either missed it or changed their mind after realizing how amazing of a set it was. But yeah, instantly one of my favorite sets, but it can't be right at the top because it's almost exactly the same as one of my favorite sets. But it's close. It's up there. And now I'm like, I feel like I'm done with Hoth, right?
Yeah, you could be. I always could use more snow speeders.
Yeah, until they start doing dios or play sets.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I'm good on Hoth at this point. Now play set, Jazzwares. The people want the play sets, the dioramas.
Yeah,
we got to get those. I would love an Echo Base play set for that to put all this stuff around.
That would be really cool.
But that's what 3D printers are for, right?
That's right. You can make
now.
them.
We kind of knew that was coming, and then Revenge of the 6th happened, and this was a total surprise to maybe even Jazzwares. I don't know. I don't know that was this on their official social channels at all.
I don't know if it was, but I do remember the silhouette of the Z95 and the ATTE being in the Japan exclusive thing.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what this was for. But yeah, this just kind of showed up with very little fanfare.
Yeah.
$100 feels hefty for this, Kevin.
That does feel pretty hefty, especially considering
this is I'm assuming this is an Amazon exclusive. Feels like an Amazon exclusive.
Okay.
But the what was this? The Republic Attack Force Battle Pack? Is that right?
Something like that.
For anybody who did not have all these ships, this is a great set. Still pricey.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if there's some like weird tariff stuff. Amazon feels like they've been kind of passing that along.
Yes.
When other retailers aren't. So you're paying a little bit of a premium there. Yeah, DC Metro mentions they're overcharging you $15 from the retail price of these individually. So, you know, I think this is probably more an Amazon thing than a Jazzwares thing. And it currently has a shipping date of December. But all those things aside, the set is a cool idea. I know there's people that's back with Series 2, right? The original gunship.
Yeah, I was really hoping that, kind of like we're seeing with the ATTE, that it actually has some different deco on it. I was hoping that they would do something with that. Now, in this image,
Yeah,
it
right.
doesn't look any different.
Right. We don't know. Did the original one have the little bit of red around the tips there of the cannons?
You're talking about on the actual like laser cannons on the front, very
Right at the
front of it?
very tip there, yeah.
Oh, I don't know that I even noticed that, but no, it does not. It doesn't have any. It doesn't have any of that. It's possible too that
The
the
Crumb
that the
Bomb, it looks exactly like the Crumb Bomber without the image on the side to me.
Yes, correct. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The red markings that are on the wing
Yeah.
look to be slightly thinner. They look, yeah, closer to the Crumb Bomber. But the I really thought
Yeah,
so.
to me that's identical to the Crumb Bomber minus Salacious on the side.
Yeah, years ago, when having a discussion with the brand manager, we had talked about. He had mentioned something about like, oh, wouldn't it be really cool if we had one of those that had the closing doors that they would close all the way,
Mhm.
and then also ones that had the laser cannons on the top that were a little bit shorter.
Right.
So I was hoping that we'd get maybe something like that. That would certainly
That's
make
the
this,
dream.
yeah, way
Feels
more
like a
enticing.
feels like that's still a dream at this point. Now,
Yeah, maybe.
uh, Dave says there's a little bit of red behind the cockpit canopy there,
Okay,
and
yep,
that's
I
different.
see that.
And he's
Tiny
correct,
bit
and that's
different.
literally the only difference I see.
Yeah, and then I'm sure the Z95 is going to be a battle damage Z95
Yeah, if you
to.
look at the now, I can't remember what the if you look at the engine there,
Mhm.
that one has battle damage on it.
Yeah, and it looks like it's got a little bit right there on the towards the nose of the
Yeah,
ship.
and it's a little hard to tell in this image which pilot that is. I'm actually going to pull the listing up here and see if it says in the details
Mhm.
which pilot that is. Somebody in chat, let me
Yeah.
know.
But it is nice to be able to have the Z95 that's going to be obviously easier to get than trying to find that rare. Although
Now,
hopefully the rare starts to show up at Walmarts, although
mhm,
who knows.
I hope so because what a weird. Now that Andor's done,
Mhm.
spoilers. But what was going on in these discussions when the Clone Wars Z95 was made a rare
Mhm.
and the Partisans Z95, Kevin,
Yeah.
spoilers for the show, doesn't exist in the show. It's not a
It doesn't
thing.
exist anywhere.
Um, the only mention of it I've ever seen
Mhm.
is in a I think they mention it in Rebel Rising, a
Okay.
tie-in book for Rogue One. I think it's
Interesting.
mentioned in that book, but it
Well,
is not seen anywhere,
maybe
and
that'll
it
be
is
the
a
new media
common.
source. Yeah,
It's
and
a
I know.
common. So, and here, who knows? With these early things like this, they could have shown or told Jazzware's early concept stuff that maybe this was going to be in the show.
Mm,
Maybe a scene with it was cut,
right.
and VFX never got finished, whatever it was. Um, it's it's insane on the back end of that, not knowing the details that go on in those discussions. But from the
Right.
outside looking in, to me, it's insane that this Z95 that doesn't exist is a common, and the one from Clone Wars is a rare.
Yeah.
That's one of the weirder decisions that's happened, I think, in this line. Super, super strange. I do not see it. It doesn't look like they name any specific clone pilots for these
Yeah.
that I'm seeing in the listing.
Well, the
So
other thing that happens
I
too
see
with this
Rex
one
mentioned.
is you do get the 2 scout class vehicles. So you get
Hmm.
the ATRT and then the Bark speeder, which again is kind of like just like seems like it's just throwing that in there. The Bark Speeder makes sense because it goes inside the LAT, but or the ATTE, but the ATRT seems kind of odd to throw that to this as well.
I assume you bought one.
I did.
I did as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But
man.
I think the big standout in this, by the way, the blue cockpit looks great on that.
I know it really does. I love all the cockpit colors that they do.
But the ATTE has seen a significant glow up in this version, right?
Agreed. It has.
It has gunmetal, like metallic gunmetal turrets now, which look great.
It does. Got some
there's
details on the legs.
Deco all over this thing.
Yeah.
The soft plastic, whatever material. I hope it's a stronger material.
Yeah, is that red on there?
Yeah, that is now the same color as well.
Nice.
And look at the legs. There's all that extra deco on the legs.
Right.
This feels more like a premium version of this as well.
Agreed.
So this one is definitely a step up. I know a lot of people seem to be pretty excited about this one. And again, I love when you can have multiple versions, repaints, whatever. Some people are never going to like them, but this is a line where repaints make so much sense.
Yeah.
And I love being able to have two of the same thing beside each other that aren't exactly the same thing. And this one looks great. So
it does.
It's a very pricey set, but it's cool. There's some stuff to love in there, I think, especially if you missed out on one of these the first go around, or you weren't into the line when Series 2 happened. A lot of those gunships kind of got sold up.
For sure. Yeah, the other thing about this that I think is really cool is it's Amazon, so it's possible that by the time this actually releases, the price comes down. So we have actually seen that with the pre-orders for the Arc and the Reaper. Yeah. Both of those, the prices came back.
Yeah. So I was kind of telling people, hopefully, because this is up, I know a lot of people were, some people were freaking out about the prices on Amazon.
Yeah.
They've got their pre-order price guarantee. These were listed at Target and Walmart. They did bring the prices of those down in line with the other retailers, but they tried it. I'm telling you, they're doing that little thing, where they're adding a few bucks here and there to everything right now, and hopefully hopefully they knock that off soon. I know that whatever the tariff stuff's on pause, sort of, but hopefully they knock that off and stuff comes down. But
yeah,
the best place, you never know. Shipping estimates, who knows? They can get pushed. They can come early. You never know. But Target currently has the soonest shipping estimate for those Arc and Reaper pre-orders at July 28th. Is that right?
I saw on mine is 23rd of July.
Yeah. So last week or so of July, that's currently the earliest shipping date. Amazon and Walmart have those both a month or so later. So if you're going to place an order somewhere, Target might be the way to do that.
Yep.
But pretty fun. I'm glad we got several things for the 4th. We got that cool item on the 6th. And then the other retailers finally added the Arc and the Reaper.
Hey, Cole, we've got 78 people right now in the hashtag out the window giveaway. So if you're signing on here, we've got 112 on here right now between the two channels, 114. It was all the way up to 120 something. If you haven't done this yet, in the chat, hashtag out the window is to get yourself entered in a giveaway for the rare Mace window.
It's on the screen now. Willis G, hashtag out the window.
There you go.
Capitalization does not matter. You can only enter once. What's up, Age of Grogu? We got a 82. Few more of these rolling in. We're going to go ahead and call it here in just a minute. Kevin, if you want to prep that and get it ready. We've got quite a few rolling in here. Justin Johnston, what's up, man? Israel, what's going on? How many are we looking at right now, Kevin?
Right now, let me pull this up here on the screen. Right now, we've got 87.
That's a lot, especially considering we already gave one of these away, and I know that it seems like people have had okay luck finding these. I know you've had great luck finding these.
I have.
I have not found a rare or a chase since Hera's X-Wing.
Nice.
So it's been a while, and that was the first one
I
found since.
You mean you didn't find any of those Shadow V-Wings?
Ooh.
Like the million Shadow V-Wings that were out there?
Maybe.
We're at 89.
I don't think I did.
No Knight Brothers? Yeah.
And I hunt.
Gosh, the Knight Brothers, man.
I hunt. Yeah, I know, man. I don't know what's up with my area, but it's pretty hard to come across that. Antok might have been the last one I found. Listen, I've been over this before. I found Sabine and Antok at Target. And I feel like that just sucked up all my luck for the entirety of the whole line. It took every ounce of luck I have with rares and chases, and now I will never find anything great after those. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I remember when I found Sabine, it was so odd. I walked in the store, it was like nowhere near where we were supposed to be getting Series 2, and then all of a sudden there was one on the peg, and I was like, great. And it was the time where they were on clearance. Series 2 was on clearance, so I got it for like $9.99 or something. But
oh man, listen, we've still got people coming in here.
Right,
Jupiter Crush, Earl Short.
We're at 92 currently.
Yeah, let's you want to do a countdown? Darth Venom getting in right here at the cutoff. Let's do a little bit of a countdown here.
Okay. All right. Here, let me pull this up on the screen. All right.
We've got 93. Hashtag out the window. We're gonna pull the trigger here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There it goes. Everybody get fired up. We're getting down to the end here. It's going to slow down. And Eric is the winner.
Just Eric.
Probably the best name that we've had so far. Eric, if you are in here, congratulations. You have won a Mace Windu Jedi Starfighter Rare.
Yes, congrats.
That is the most epic name ever.
Just Eric. That's amazing.
Eric.
Hopefully we see him in chat. You know, I've been surprised. This is episode 9, but actually our 10th stream because we had a special episode.
Yeah.
And all 10 streams, the winner has been here in chat when we've actually pulled the trigger on this. So hopefully he's still around. Hit us up on social media, or you can email microgalaxysquadcast@gmail.com. Send us your info, and I will forward that info to let's see, who was it? Brenton S. Is that what I said? I think that was correct.
Sounds right.
Brenton S. In the Facebook group. Super generous of you. He'll be sending that out. It is amazing how fun this is, and people just want to spread the love.
Yeah.
And we're fine being a conduit for that. Because
absolutely,
it's a blast. Spreading the rares and chases around, you know, Kevin.
Absolutely. Why not? Right.
All right. That was a blast. Love it. Love doing that. But you know, it was a slower week. And I was actually going to unbox the Hoth set while you did some comparisons there. But the moment has passed. And I thought a fun discussion for a slow week would be, this has come up before. There's an image that's floated around that's been updated a couple times of all of the ships in the line and what media properties they're from, or what they
Yep.
first seen in.
Mm-hmm.
There's some that are overwhelming, and there's some that have little to no love. And I thought it would be cool to kind of take a look at that, dissect that, maybe have a discussion with the people in chat. What needs more love?
Yeah.
In the Micro Galaxy Squadron line. And DC Metro,
yes,
just a Facebook group rock star,
absolutely,
updated this image for us before the show.
For some reason, it is like super small on my end. I can
well,
see
it
nothing.
looks okay to me. It's a
Now,
lot
I
of
have
info.
split this up. So I split it up into 2 different sections. So we've got the top and the bottom.
Look at you. So I'm going to pull it up on my phone here just so I can zoom in and take a look at this stuff. I think if you're watching on your phone, you can also kind of pinch and zoom in on this. But right off the bat,
yeah,
Clone Wars, absolutely bananas.
Clone Wars definitely has the most,
but not far behind.
Yeah, I was
Star
surprised
Wars
to see,
Rebels.
to be honest, when looking at this, I was surprised looking at this to see the amount that were from the original trilogy, because it certainly seems like, man, we're getting just tons of stuff from, the Clone Wars, but there's a lot from Return of the Jedi, and then also from A New Hope.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, listen, Clone Wars and Rebels fans have been eating good.
Yeah.
No one has served Rebels fans as consistently right off the bat as MGS has. It's taken Vintage Collection and Black Series and stuff a while to really get a lot of Rebels product out there after the 5 POA stuff. So unfortunately, I know a lot of that has been rares and chases, but man, just tons and tons and tons of stuff for Rebels, tons and tons and tons of stuff from Clone Wars. And really, a lot of the Clone Wars stuff is the micro series as well. There's been a whole lot from the micro series.
Yeah.
Now, is that a separate? I don't think that's a separate thing on here. Clone Wars is Clone Wars, right?
It is under Legends.
Okay.
Yeah. You could actually throw a bunch of the stuff from episode 1 into that Legends category because it came from that Tartakovsky Clone Wars cartoon.
Now, Legends, something I think we could definitely see more in.
Yeah, agreed. It is kind of crazy to see the layout like this too, because I don't think that I had the impression that, with Acolyte, Bad Batch, Solo, and Obi-Wan, that there were so few vehicles. I don't know. I mean, I guess I just go through it and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I see it all the time when I'm down here. But I don't think about that as we only got one vehicle from that. It seems like Obi-Wan would be like a relatively easy shoe-in to do another snow speeder, to do the air speeder that they had in that.
Yeah, I think the funniest thing looking at this that like immediately jumps out at you is Acolyte and Solo with one measly scout class speeder.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now Acolyte, they both got a brand new mold. Great for them. But one little speeder.
Yeah.
And now with both of these, I don't know that I necessarily need a whole lot from either one of these. Acolyte, the only thing I'd really take, and this isn't even specific to Acolyte, I've mentioned this before. I would love the Jedi Vector starfighters that they have.
Yeah.
That would be really, really, really cool. Just not even necessarily Acolyte related, but it's the main starfighter, I believe, for the High Republic era. It's actually in Young Jedi Adventures as well.
Okay.
Which, as we go to the next image, we'll see has nothing makes a lot of sense though.
Yes.
That has nothing. But that's all I really want to see from that. The Jedi Vector Starfighter.
Mm-hmm.
Solo, I've seen tons and tons and tons of people wanting that redo of the Falcon, like a retool of the Falcon.
Yep.
So that, to me, that's a very easy, maybe not easy, but that's a way to get most of that mold back out there.
Yeah, I would be in for
and
that
at a higher price point too.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, are we far enough? Are we so far away from Solo that doesn't make a lot of sense?
I don't think so. I mean, the Millennium Falcon's an iconic vehicle for Star Wars, so being able to get it in all of its different versions, I think makes sense. The one thing that we do have potentially coming for Solo, actually, very sure that it is coming, is Enfys Nest Speeder. Because that was mentioned in a stream with the brand manager that was talking about how difficult it was to fit it inside the Scout class packaging because it was so big.
Yeah. So
So
will we ever see that? Who knows? But that, again, that would be
cool.
another really cool one.
Yeah.
I know there's some some flashes of different vehicles here and there. And there's another TIE fighter. There's another TIE fighter in there. The TIE Brute, right? Here we go.
Yes.
The TIE Brute. They love getting TIE fighters out there.
I tell you what.
Don't tell me you're about to pull one out of your butt there. Look at that.
I literally 3D printed this last night, or 2 nights ago.
No way.
So there's the wing on it. I've got the other parts here too, but I have to reprint them. But there's a little ball turret that goes on there. I've resized it to be Micro Galaxy Squadron size. So
yes, what an odd ship that one is.
Yes,
but there's stuff in there. I think I kind of want to do this too, because we're at a point in the line where you kind of see people think, well, what is there left to do? They've done all of the stuff, and there's a lot of meat left on the bone, I think, in some of these that just aren't like the things that pop into people's minds right off the bat.
Yeah.
But yeah, Solo's one that, like, Enfys Nest, I hope they put that one back out. Man, we desperately need really cool, unique scout class molds, like unique characters, to get characters into line that may not be able to be in there because there's no ship tied to them, but also to balance out the troop building aspect of scout class, I think. I know we've seen Luthen. I think Luthen is coming up in the next wave from Celebration. And again, like the Seventh Sister, Luthen showing up in scout class, that makes me think there's a chance we might see the Fondor Hallcraft.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Bummer it didn't get more screen time in the second season.
I know a lot. The interior got more than the outside. I was really hoping for another really cool scene with it. But nothing even remotely like that first season awesome scene. That was amazing. Such a cool scene. For that scene alone, I still think we need that. Like, we need a Fondor Hallcraft.
Totally
agree. I know it's large.
Yep.
Kenobi, man, there's a lot of stuff in Kenobi. I don't know that I necessarily want any of it. If that makes sense. The Snow Speeder is kind of an obvious re-release. I actually think that would make a good rare. Sure.
Yeah, the air.
It's because it's not integral to the story. I don't feel like it's iconic to the show. It was just kind of there for that one scene.
Yeah. Although it is a slightly different mold. So I couldn't imagine them possibly making a new mold just for that one vehicle.
But have they ever done that, Kevin?
Yeah, no. They wouldn't do that in this scenario either. So but yeah.
Not for that. Moving along, Andor is the one we mentioned, the Fondor Hallcraft. That's a must.
TIE Avenger seems like a shoe-in.
The what?
The TIE Avenger. I mean, why would
the
they
TIE
not?
Avenger, you've got to think is coming.
Yeah.
yet.
I hope they size it up, man. You got to make
Trek Galaxy mentions the Imperial Tactical Shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
Several shuttles. Now the TIE Reaper, man, blink and you miss it in the show. It was like there in a blink and then gone. The ISB shuttle, yeah, I think that would be cool.
It's funny you brought that up earlier because I wonder how much of that is the Lucasfilm is like, yeah, we're going to feature this. Just go ahead and make this, because in order to be able to produce these vehicles and have them ready, this is like 18 months in the making. I mean, this is not something
you've got to have at least a year lead time. So
right. So it's not something like they just say, hey, we're going to have a TIE Avenger coming up next week. Let's go ahead and do it. So
now I will say this only because it's the first one. I think it's the first one on our list here that we've chatted about needing more. And you could put this into several categories. I've mentioned it so many times before. We've got to have that security gunship.
Oh yes, agreed.
The Imperial security gunship variant.
I can't believe they haven't done it. I could imagine the tooling on that has got to be out of control. I mean, it's got to have as many parts as the AT-AT does.
I want it so bad. Yeah. It is so cool. And man, it has shown up in so many places. It's never like, I think it's probably featured most prominently in Rebels, I guess, when they steal the one and there's a whole scene with Kanan kind of doing a thing.
Yes.
Kanan does a thing, a little force push thing.
But there's a ton of stuff in that. I mean, with that vehicle,
it's in
with Rook.
Video games, I believe it's also in some Stargazer says Clone Wars, Rebels, Ahsoka, Andor. It's in Jedi. It's either Jedi Survivor or the other one. I can't remember which one it's in. But might be.
I've got one 3D printed file that I've done at this scale, and it looks great. I mean, that's the only reason why I'm like, because there's no way it's going to be as good as that. But
Fallen Order is I think it's in both. Yeah. It's all over the place on Coruscant and in other places.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that I'm like, we've got to get that. I hope that's coming at some point. Because you can fit that into that Starship category. Starship is like such a nice class size for this line.
Yeah, it is.
And man, I've wanted that since the line started, and I hope it's coming. Or you can slap whatever show you want on that, but I do hope it's coming.
You could re-release that so many different ways with so many characters.
That
was the one thing that I had suggested. That's a great way to get Governor Price, Rook, and Thrawn. And Thrawn, you could do all three of those characters in one of those, plus a couple of patrol troopers.
Now I will say that would be the deal with that ship is when you're making that decision of which property it's coming from, this version.
Sure.
The figures to me are going to be what defines that release with that. So who's packed in with that from what scene? Unfortunately, they could probably pack in some Rebels characters and not have to make anything new.
Yeah.
But my hope is that they could pack in something like who knows, a Balin or Shin or Night Troopers. Or were those Night Troopers that jumped down to that? I think they were all Night Troopers, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch Ahsoka. So obviously the video games that we'll get to have no love, and I know there's quite a few people upset about that. But you could get several characters from the games in there as well, doing that way. Rogue One. I think there's a couple ties we could see, but it's had some okay representation, especially with it now having a Dreadnought class ship in there.
Yeah.
The one thing I would love to see, if we can't get an Antok re-release somehow, I would love to see more Blue Squadron.
Yeah, that
Just
would be cool.
release a general Blue Squadron X-wing with a generic Rebel pilot with it. I think that'd be a good happy medium between re-releasing a chase and doing something like that. Just release a generic Blue Squadron X-wing. I'd be happy with that. A lot of people bring up the AT-AT from there.
Yeah, the AT-ACT.
Yeah. I don't know about that. The legs are crazy long on that, correct?
Yeah, it's supposed to be much bigger than the
Mm-hmm.
AT-AT. Although, to be perfectly honest, you could probably just do an AT-AT with that, retool a little box or something like that that goes in the middle of it. And yeah,
Yeah. Now,
yeah,
DC
the
Metro
hover
brings up a
tank
good
would be
point. At some
great.
point, we did see a hover tank listing,
Yeah,
which
that's
tells
right.
us that is something they were at least developing at one point in time. So I think a hover tank would be really cool.
Yeah. And then to be able to have the accessories of those little boxes that go on the back, that would be
Mm-hmm.
really cool.
Yeah. Episode 4, we're looking pretty good. There's a lot there. Episode 5,
Yeah, I think you were mentioning you're good on that one. And now that we got the cloud car coming, the
for
super
sure,
mini
the
cloud car.
tiny cloud car and the little bitty probe droid.
Yeah. Again, I think you could definitely do a rebel trooper with one of those cannons. We had them in Power of the Force, whatever they're called.
Mm-hmm.
Those laser cannons. That would be a perfect scout class vehicle.
Yeah. So
because you can ride on it. It doesn't move, but you can hold on to it and ride
it
on it.
spins, maybe.
Yeah.
The only thing that's like, I wouldn't say it's glaring,
Mhm.
but at this point, a big omission for me is a Dagobah X-wing repaint.
Now, I have heard
Yeah.
multiple times
Yeah.
that is coming,
Yeah.
but I'm surprised we haven't seen it yet.
We've seen the listings and it's been quite a while. So who knows if that's still in the still
I
in the
can't
cards.
imagine that they don't do that. That's such an easy one to
Yeah.
do. I can't
I
imagine
think
that
that'd
that
be
doesn't
cool. I
come.
would love for them now if they do that. I would really love for them to go ahead and do a dirty R2 with it.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
but I think I'm good with episode 5. I love episode 5. Outside of a Star Destroyer or a Space Slug,
Mhm.
I think Dagobah is what we're missing there. From episode 4, obviously Sandcrawler, just in
Mhm.
general, that's a huge one.
Yep.
And then moving along to episode 6, we've got a lot from episode 6.
We have a ton from episode
But
6.
Jabba's sail barge, the
Mhm.
Katana, it's got to be coming at some point. I know it doesn't need, the point of this was what needs more representation. We've got a lot from episode 6, but large ships need more representation in general.
Mhm.
Assault class needs more representation. We don't know if there's a new one coming this year, but maybe they just have a dreadnought or two coming this year instead. But I really hope the next assault class is Jabba's sail barge.
That would be awesome.
Mandalorian, surprisingly short list. I know there's a lot on there.
Yeah.
But there's not an insane amount on there, really.
It was pretty hot and heavy there at the very beginning.
Yeah,
There was
really
tons of
front loaded
Mandalorian
with
stuff.
Mando stuff.
Yep.
But I'm okay with that. I'm trying to think of anything that's like glaring and missing from there. Book of Boba Fett.
Mhm.
So DC Metro, who's in the chat and can he has put the New Republic X-wing under Book of Boba Fett because I believe it is it Reeves? Is that it? Captain Reeves? Does that sound right?
Sounds right. Yeah.
Reeves. I believe that's who we think based on the little read Lieutenant Reed, which would be from Book of Boba Fett. Now, in the Walmart listings, we saw Skeleton Crew, New Republic X-Wing. So who knows what the deal was with that listing. But it does look like Lieutenant Reed based on the micro figure and the ship. Really, I think the markings on the ship. So interested to see what comes with that. Now, if we're doing Book of Boba Fett, there's some Scout class in there.
Oh yes.
Is that the downfall of the line? Do we need the mods in the Book of Boba Fett? Actually, it could
Power
be
Rangers?
just a whole wave. You could just do a whole wave of them.
The Power Rangers. I can't remember who it was that said that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is exactly what it is."
Yeah, chat definitively against that, and understandably so. Probably one of my least favorite things in that whole show.
I can't believe that they got away with doing that. I mean, who came up with that idea?
Robert Rodriguez for sure. But you do think at some point, somebody should have stepped in and said, "Hey, this is kind of weird. Like, this doesn't feel right. We need to, do something with this."
Not only that,
can we
but the other
dirty
thing
these up? Can we?
The only thing that drives me nuts about that show more than that is the stupid droid fight at the very end, where the thing is moving super slow and going around just shooting, and it's missing literally everything. And then all of a sudden, it like turns the corner and it's right in your face. Like, how did that thing teleport? That whole scene drives me. I can't watch that. As cool as it is to see Boba Fett riding on a Rancor, like, man, can't get
I showed that clip or scene to my 4-year-old, and he thought that was the coolest thing he's ever seen in his life.
Boba Fett riding on the Rancor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree. That made it. If that hadn't happened, I would just be like, oh,
yeah,
it's just so hard.
Oh, he thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
What an uneven show.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't say it's bad, but it is very, very, very uneven. And it was one of the shows where I remember just sitting there. Mando gives me this vibe sometimes too, but I remember just sitting there thinking, like, I feel like all of these guest stars are like people that were rejects from Saturday Night Live. You know what I mean? There's just a vibe to the guest stars on that show.
Yeah. I have felt like that definitely in season 3 of Mandalorian, where it's like it feels like the directors are just going, let's just throw these cool people in here just to have them in here.
The mayor, same kind of way, where like I'm like, Mayor, I feel like you're not in Star Wars. Whatever acting you're doing right now, it doesn't feel like you're in the same show as some of these other people.
Yeah.
A very unserious portrayal, I think.
Yep.
But again, Book of Boba Fett, to me, if we can't have the Rancor because there's no beasts, I don't feel like I'm really missing anything from that. We're not going to get the train.
Yeah,
we're not going to get the train, so nothing glaring, even though there's not huge. This is one where I think we've kind of hit, I don't need anything else from the show, even though there's not a whole lot in there from it. Ahsoka.
Yep.
I really think all we're really missing, here's the thing. They could do a generic Fiend fighter.
Yeah.
And that would make a lot of sense.
Yep.
But the fact that I see so many Fiend fighters on the pegs makes me think maybe they shouldn't do a generic Fiend fighter. I don't know.
They certainly cannot release it just as a standard vehicle. It would have to be part of a battle pack, which does make sense. It would make sense to do a battle damaged T6. Probably it would come with a Shin and then the extra one, which
Yeah.
Jazzwares could just buy up all those shins and just throw them, open them up, and put them in
Is that how that works? They're
yeah,
like,
exactly.
hey, Target, send those back to us.
We're gonna go ahead and put it in this battle pack.
Oh
But
man,
yeah, no,
can you imagine the labor on that? It would unboxing all those, repacking them in a big battle pack.
The amount of paper cuts you get, or
Eh,
plastic cuts you get from ripping
yeah,
those things open.
I'm trying to think if there's anything from Ahsoka I really need beyond that. Again, that patrol gunship.
There's actually a couple of
Absolutely.
vehicles that I think would be really cool, but would likely not happen. So Balin's big ship.
The little turtle guys things, they're floating
The
homes.
turtle guys. Yeah. But Balin's attack shuttle, I think, is great.
Oh, that's it. That's the one. We need that. It looked great. Yeah, because that's from Clone Wars, right? Basically.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you could reuse that. You could
we need
reuse that
them.
mold
Absolutely. That's the
a
one.
ton of times.
Yep.
But the other one that I thought was really cool, I didn't even remember it until I rewatched it, is Morgan Elsbeth's gold ship that she flies in.
Yeah.
They'll never make it, but it was such a cool, unique looking
Is that
ship.
kind of the crescent sort of a crescent looking glider?
No, it looks kind of like a box is basically what it is. But yeah, no, that would be a cool one, but they'll never make it. Yeah, it's like a trapezoid type thing.
Yeah, that was the one. I think that shuttle is the one I think could probably sell. And again, man, put Balin and Shin in that, and
Mhm.
that's a pretty awesome starship class.
Yeah,
You know,
it'd definitely
I
be a starship class.
yeah, it would need to be starship class because any bigger and you're in too much money for what it's probably going to sell.
Right.
I think that's why starship class is such a nice you know middle ground for some of those. Kevin, the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Rise of Skywalker, the most represented in the line. Again, the only thing I think I'm really missing from there's things you could do.
Sorry, hold on. Where are we at? The Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, just the sequel trilogy in general.
Okay, the sequel trilogy. Yeah. With you.
To me, as someone who's they're fine. I think it's fine. Again, uneven for sure. Several things you could do. For me, things I'm missing, Kylo's shuttle. That would be an awesome release.
Yep.
A generic Resistance X-Wing with a Resistance pilot.
Okay.
Just give us a generic T-70, especially since that blue one was a chase, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
A generic one would be great. Kylo Ren's, and I think I'm pretty good after that, to be honest. You could do tallies. Now, I love the blue A-Wing they did.
Yeah.
You could do the one that's slightly different and just give us the blue A-Wing with tally.
Yep.
I would buy that as well because the blue one came out looking so great that I would 100% buy that again. Now, I know I've seen a lot of people who want the big gorilla walkers from Last Jedi. Again, I think those would not be in scale, right?
Yeah, they'd have to be the same size as the AT-AT. And
no way they'd be in scale. They'd be scaled down to about probably the AT-AT size.
Yep.
And I think it's pretty much a new mold, right? There's not a whole lot of reuse you could do because it's not exactly the same.
It's a one-timer as well.
And I don't know, I question how well that would sell for something that size, that price point that you have to invest that much money in tooling for.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's not a super safe bet.
How about Ray's speeder?
It would be cool. What's that?
How about Ray's popsicle speeder?
Oh, that's a weird one because we've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't know
Would it
when
have
it's
some?
coming.
Yep.
I absolutely want that. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the one on my sequel trilogy shelf here from Black Series.
Yeah.
I think it's a love it or hate it ship, but I actually really love that one. I'm assuming that's going to come out at some point, especially this year would make sense. I hope I hope we see it before the end of the year for TFA 10.
Yeah, there's a couple other ones that you could potentially do in there. The there's a couple that I think would be fun, but will never sell. The Think about this with like the most obscure one would be the whatever the sailing thing that Ray is on in the Rise of Skywalker when she sails out to the broken down Death Star.
Oh my gosh.
that would be that would be super unique. And then the crate speeder, those things look so stupid. Uh I could just never see those ever selling.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Again,
resistance
there's
bomber
people
actually.
there's people that
That's a
like
good
them.
one. The resistance bomber could definitely work.
Yeah.
The one that's dropping all the bombs on the whatever it is, the dreadnought.
Again, I think there's obviously in that whole trilogy, there's a lot of things they could do.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at what is kind of sat on shelves, I don't know that there's a whole lot of things they should do
No, the
for
whole
the line
sequel
to stay
trilogy.
profitable.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest problem I think we're even going to run into here with the silencer is that they crushed themselves with the vault release. That
Mm-hmm.
so many people picked up the vault release and are just not going to pick up the silencer.
Better version. We'll see if that happens with the Geonosian Starfighter. In
Yeah,
the grand
agreed.
scheme of things, it's a few thousand. My guess
Mhm.
is they're selling tens of thousands of these, so it's a small chunk of them. But yeah, it's when you've got a nicer version of it out there,
Mhm.
that your hardcore fans aren't out there buying them for sure.
Yeah.
But the sequel trilogy. Again, there's a lot of stuff they could do. I think we're about close to hitting the ceiling of what they should do profitability wise.
Mhm.
But we'll see. And I don't know that there's a lot of room to revisit some of the more obscure stuff because we're about to get feature films again, and I'm hoping that will bring all kinds of new stuff and maybe budget for new tooling for these new movies.
Yeah.
And it's like when you've got one a year, a feature film once a year or close to once a year, at least the next 2 years we'll have them, and a show or two, a season or two. We'll have Ahsoka next year. That's a lot of new to fit into the line. So I'm hoping this new will kind of balance out the things they need to go back and hit.
Mhm.
And then we've got Visions. I think we're good on that. I could see
Mhm.
maybe a does she even have a TIE fighter to go with that? I don't think she does. It's just a Star Destroyer.
I don't remember,
I'm
but
good on Visions.
yeah.
And then the part of the list here at the very end, things that we have no representation at all.
Mhm.
And looking at this list, the one that really jumps out at me,
Mhm.
Skeleton Crew,
Yeah.
Onyx Cinder, Scout class of all those bikes, the kids on the speeder bikes.
Mhm.
So cool. That's like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
All those kids on the bikes, Onyx Cinder. There's another pirate. Don't we have the
Snub fighter.
snub fighter?
Yep.
Yep, that makes a return. And the B Wings,
Mhm.
Kevin, the B Wings.
Yeah.
I want a special B Wing on Vault that has the blast effects for that absolutely ridiculous multi-beam thing that the B-Wing does
Mhm.
in that Skeleton Crew finale.
Yeah.
I want that so bad. It's like there's several properties on here that have 5 or 6 things. Skeleton Crew is one of those things that I hope a year from now we have 5 or 6 things on there.
Mm-hmm.
I love that show, and it just totally it was generally well received too. And
Yeah.
it's like once it was over, about 2 weeks later, nothing. It's like no one has speaks a word about it. There was nothing at hardly anything at Celebration mentioned about it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, just crazy. I really, really, really would like to see several releases from Skeleton Crew. I'm not a big fan of the video game stuff in
Mm-hmm.
general. I don't really buy the figures, but I do know there's some stuff to mine there. I think the problem with the Jedi games is the Stinger Mantis is so large and awkwardly shaped that there's not a lot you can do there with that, just packaging wise, size wise. I think that would be a great candidate for like a made to order vault, either made to order or crowdfunded. I guess you'd call it crowdfunded. That'd be a great crowdfunded release, as well as the Outrider that we hear about all the time. Outrider. And again, I've said this before, Young Jedi Adventures. I need Jazzwares to take the leap of faith and give us a Nubs on a speeder.
That would be awesome.
Kevin, I don't know if you've seen this clip. There at Celebration on the main stage, there was someone in a full-size Nubs outfit dancing for like several minutes. Just dancing to music for several minutes in a giant Nubs costume. It's
Can't
one
beat
of the
that,
best
man.
things I've ever seen. If you're having a bad day, you pull up this video of Nubs just dancing to music on this stage, and it's so amazing and so awkward. I would love for them to do that with Young Jedi Adventures. Resistance, so many cool things
there
they
are
could
a
do
lot
with
of
it,
really cool vehicles that they have in that show.
It was not super popular, and everything in there is basically a new mold and a one-time use mold.
Mm-hmm.
So it's dangerous. I can't see them doing that just because they're all brand new, unique, one-time use mold starfighters.
Yep.
But they would be really cool.
They would be.
So, in my opinion, Skeleton Crew currently needs the most love.
Yeah, the Onyx Cinder again seems like a somewhat of a shoe-in on doing that one, although I don't think that they would do the second version of it. They would likely do the first one.
I kind of agree, but the second version is the one I want.
Yeah, I would agree. I want both of them.
And so nice.
Design it where you have the second one inside the first one.
That'd be so expensive.
Out.
My guess is that would be like $100. You're basically having to make and tool 2 unique ships, and the engineering for those mechanics to actually fit together and work like that. That would be nuts if they pulled that off. I just think it would be so expensive to accommodate that. Chat throwing out some things. Ty Baron, Stargazer says he would pay $100 for that. I would as well. I think if it had that functionality. The problem is you couldn't display them both at the same time that way. It'd be one or the other. Yeah, Resistance getting a lot of comments in chat here. Again, it's cool. There's no way they would make money on that, I don't think.
Yeah.
Quad Jumper.
I was thinking Quad Jumper as well at one point.
Again, thanks to DC Metro for throwing this image together. It just chat, throw out which media property you think needs the most love at this point. I'm going to go with Skeleton Crew, but Solo is a good candidate as well, I think. Solo's sitting there with one little scout class. Yeah, a lot of people throwing out Solo. Howlrunner Base says Acolyte. Not a whole lot of ships in there to do, but Yeah, a lot of Solo. Andor, people want to see Andor, Solo. DC Metro says Solo and Skeleton Crew, so much opportunity. I agree. Skeleton Crew, here we go. A lot of Skeleton Crew. Milton Keith says Clone Wars, and you're banned. Banning you right now. I said more representation. Clone Wars has been mined. Fully mined. I know there's
Although
still
with
more
Clone
to do,
Wars, you can do so many different colorways.
It's insane.
I hope that they do them all, so that way I don't have to do any customs.
But just looking at chat, it feels like Solo may be the top choice, with Skeleton Crew a very close second, and then I do see some Andors down there.
Ewok Adventures. That's what we really need. A blurg.
Scott, stop it.
A blurg. Man, I tell you what, if they could do creatures, man.
Well, that changes everything.
That would change everything. Yeah, that would blow the doors open.
Yeah. So Jazzwares, if you're jotting ideas down on your list there, Skeleton Crew and Solo, and we've got a little bit left in Andor to mine. We would love to see that. Now, you also partner with GameStop and do a gaming subline and put all your gaming ships into GameStop stores.
That seems like a reasonable idea.
Yeah, it worked sort of for Hasbro, I think. Hard to say. That was fun, and now I'm a little bit sad because I just want Skeleton Crew. I didn't think I'd feel this way when we were done. Now I'm just bummed and want Skeleton Crew and Solo ships.
Yep.
Thanks for chatting with us about that, chat. We're gonna skip our thoughts on Andor this week. It was great, liked it.
For sure.
Good stuff.
I'll say one thing that's not spoiler related to Andor. Andor felt like a real TV show.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Much more than, like a Star Wars show. It felt like kind of like you get with some of like The Dark Knight's a great example. The Dark Knight trilogy with Christopher Nolan, where it's like these extraordinary people that are in ordinary situations. You know what I mean? Or sorry, ordinary people that are in extraordinary situations that have special powers and stuff like that.
It was an excellent show that happened to be in the Star Wars universe.
Agreed.
And that's great. Now, do I want every show to be that way? No, I think it's we've kind of talked about this before. There's kind of a yin and a yang to this, that to balance each other out. And you've got your Skeleton Crew and you've got your Andor. One takes itself so seriously and it's amazing. The other one, not serious at all for the most part. And they're both great and they fit together and they're both Star Wars. And I love having both of those things exist at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, my big critique would be, I just want the quality of the actual productions to be on par with Andor and even Skeleton Crew. Those were both. Now, Skeleton Crew probably costs much less to make. I know Andor cost a fortune. But I think that's probably, we will not see a show that expensive on Disney Plus again, I bet. I just desperately want the actual quality of the production to be as high as those.
Yeah.
Those were so technically sound that from every aspect, the directing, casting, lighting, editing, even the scripts and dialogue, they're very different things. But there was nothing in Skeleton Crew that made me go, ooh, that was kind of weird, or that was odd. Acolyte, not the case. Obi-Wan Kenobi, not the case.
Yeah.
Season 3 of Mandalorian, not the case. There's times where you're looking at it and you're like, that kind of looks like a fan film. Something about the production design, using the volume set, the editing in some of the earlier Acolyte episodes was really jarring and kind of weird. The last 2 shows we've had are like excellent, like just from a technical aspect. And I hope that trend continues. I hope it kind of lights a fire under Dave for Ahsoka season 2. And it's like, okay, this is the bar, and if we're gonna do TV, it's got to compete with these. So set design, VFX, even the scripts and dialogue. Hopefully, I know Dave wrote the whole season again. Hopefully, he's got somebody there doing punch ups on the dialogue and things like that. But yeah, I will say, I also, after Andor ended, I went straight into Rogue One, and amazing how it kind of reconceptualizes some of these scenes. The Rings of Kafrene scene was like totally different now. It was awkward to me before, and feels so good now. I will say, the only thing to me that felt weird and jarring and actually did not get a glow up in Rogue One post Andor, the score. When I went straight from Andor into Rogue One, to me, the score was really jarring. Like, and not in a good way. Now it's Michael Giacchino, who I love, does great work. Has done so many cool things. He had 1 month, I believe, to score the whole movie because they lost their first composer because their reshoots went too long. I used to think it was a good score, but going from that to Rogue One, it felt a little cheesy. It was kind of weird. So that was the only thing that I feel like didn't end up better because of Andor. But man, how lucky are we to have that? I don't think we're going to get something like that again.
Agreed.
Super, super amazing. Just actually like prestige television show happening in the Star Wars world. Kevin, do we have community spotlight this week?
We do.
You get those images in?
I did.
Have you added anything of your own in there?
I have not.
Okay. So jumping over here, I should have pulled this up for topic of the show and Star Wars, but I didn't. So community spotlight. Every episode, we shine a spotlight on cool things going on in the Micro Galaxy Squadron community, customs, videos, displays, and of course, your photography. You can send submissions anytime on Instagram or microgalaxysquadcast@gmail.com. This week, Nova Toymation on Instagram. I reposted this. Did you see this, Kevin?
I did. It's incredible.
Really, really, really cool. And it's hard to do this justice. I did not have the video yet. I didn't have it downloaded.
Yeah.
But if you go to Nova Toymation on Instagram, they've got a video where so I don't see the TIE fighters in the actual video.
No, I didn't either.
They have posted, but they've rigged up this Micro Galaxy Squadron Ghost in this massive long track for a camera, and they've slid the camera down the track, and then they've like done a ton of work in post here to create a video scene of the Ghost flying by and then jumping into making the jump to hyperspace.
Yeah.
So and it's the actual lights from the ship too, the engines.
Yeah.
Like they haven't done a ton of effects to the engines either. And it was so cool and really just like a really unique thing. There's cool photos all the time and I love them, and people are doing cool custom stuff all the time. But one of the few like videos I've seen someone make and rig, like this is a huge set this person had to rig up.
No
like
kidding.
This. It looks super involved. So I love seeing really strange and out there stuff like this. A lot of effort, I'm sure, went into this. So just wanted to give this one a shout out. Nova Toymation on Instagram. It's a really cool video. Go check it out. I thought it was worthy of a little spotlight this week.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it was really cool getting to see the. I can't remember how they had it set up, whether or not they show like the image of the toy first and then they show the flyby of it. But if they had
the
just
flyby's at the
shown,
very end.
if they had just shown the flyby at the beginning, I would not have known that was a Micro Galaxy Ghost.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it was very cool.
Very cool.
Amazing what people do out there.
So, like we mentioned at the beginning, Andor is over. Yes. We should be back on Tuesdays. May 27th, I believe, is a Tuesday, correct? Yeah. May 27th, we should be back. And I believe, I don't have this confirmed. Let me check. I might have it confirmed.
May 27th, yes.
We're waiting to hear back from Adam. Hopefully Nostalgic Adam will be back on real soon now that we're back on Tuesdays. There are some other fun things and guests in the works. I think you guys are going to like it. It's going to be fun. Kevin, thanks for going solo for a few minutes while I dropped out there in the beginning.
No worries. That's what I'm here for.
Do you have anything coming out this week? You spent all that time on a massive video for the Battle of Hoth set that we mentioned earlier. Go check that out.
Yep.
Anything new coming in the next week or two?
I'll probably do a review of this trench run at some point. I've got some stands that I'm working on. I just finished up that are over on my Etsy page, which I like. I think this one that I did for the T6 is pretty cool with the Fiend fighters on the side of it. That was actually, I don't know why I never thought about doing that before, but got that going. And I'm going to be doing some 3D printed TIE fighters that are at the scale of Micro Galaxy Squadron. So I have, I don't have the ball cockpit for it right now, but I do have the wing here for the TIE droid.
Okay.
So I'm going to go through and finish this guy up here over the next couple days. But I got the TIE droid. I printed another Defender. So I've got the wing. I'm taping up for that.
Oh, now, for those who missed last episode, we took a little look at the prototype TIE Defender. He's got it right there. Are these to replace? Are you designing wings to replace the existing wings?
I thought about that. I will probably end up doing that. Although the connector, like the it doesn't
definitely need
work.
to see the final production model to really secure that.
But even still, this wing, it doesn't have the strut on it. It just plugs into the top of the strut. This one actually has like the piece on it. It has the strut on it and it connects in. So it won't quite work.
Yeah.
To be able to do that. But I mean, I'm sure I can build it out, and I want to make it where the wings are shorter. So
it's interesting. It's really sleek and aggressive looking with those longer wings.
Right.
It doesn't quite look like what I think of the TIE Defender in my mind.
Yeah.
I think of the Action Fleet toy. I think of what we saw in Rebels. Right. And the wings are a little shorter. It's like a little stubbier fighter. That one's really long and aggressive.
Correct.
Not sure what was going on there. I like it. It's cool.
Yep.
But I think that would be nice to have like alternate wings printed up to do on there.
But yeah, I got that, and then the Brute that I showed earlier.
Yeah.
So I'll do
TIE Brutes.
All those.
Very cool. So this coming Wednesday, we should theoretically, the 21st, if we're getting a drop this month, we should see what's coming up on that Wednesday.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out. Keep your eye on the socials. Keep an eye on Jazzware's pages. Is it Series 8 light armor? Is it the Falcon and the Landspeeder? Who knows? But I'm ready to find out.
Yeah.
You can find me at Micro Galaxy Squadron, and Micro Squadron on Twitter. You can follow the show on Micro Galaxy Squadcast on Instagram. And it's been lovely chatting with you guys tonight. Still so many things to add to the line, even several years in now.
Yeah.
And we'll be here talking about it.
Yes, we will.
But until then, we're squadding out.
We are squadding out. We'll see you all on the 27th.
See you guys.